Hi, welcome back to my channel. Quick recap. Today, I am going to explain Sumuru movie. That is a science fiction thriller film. Watch out and take care. The movie opens in the year 2800. Adam and Jake, two astronauts launched from Earth, are seen inside their spacecraft. They are en route to a planet called Antares, where there are rumors of a significant human settlement, as per their mission. As it come about, a lethal virus has rendered all women on Earth incapable of bearing children, leaving Adam and Jake as the last remaining hope for the continuity of humanity. The mission assigned to Adam and Jake is to explore Antares, locate women, and persuade them to return with them to Earth. Upon nearing Antares, the spaceship experiences instability caused by the peculiar gravitational pull in the surrounding area. Despite their best efforts to regain control of the ship, Adam and Jake struggle to manage the situation, and ultimately, the spacecraft crashes onto the surface of planet. Both astronauts suffer minor injuries in the crash, but Jake's injuries are comparatively more severe than Adam's. Adam promptly evacuates Jake from the spaceship before the smoke inhalation poses a threat to their survival. The scene transitions to an aerial view of Antares, revealing a desolate wasteland characterized by vast rock formations with no visible signs of vegetation. Adam performs surgery on Jake's injuries and administers a state-of-the-art syringe that possesses automatic healing properties. While the two astronauts are in conversation, the sudden sound of a dog's barking catches their attention. Up until this point, the existence of life on the planet had merely been a rumor. However, upon hearing the dog's bark, the both astronauts' spirits are renewed, and Adam proceeds to trace the source of the sound. Following some exploration, Adam encounters a young, primitive-looking boy holding onto his dog with a concerned expression. Adam attempts to approach the boy, but the frightened child mentions the presence of snakeheads and immediately flees the scene. Quickly, they subdue the young boy and apprehend him, while his faithful dog flees from the scene. Meanwhile, as Adam investigates the peculiar location, he is suddenly shaken by an epic earthquake. Feeling frightened, he promptly contacts Jake using his advanced wristwatch and requests him to conduct a geoscan of the locality. Afterwards, Adam continues to venture deeper into the terrain until he comes out upon a massive temple. He enters secretly inside and is surprised to discover a significant gathering of women inside. As it transpires, on this planet, women hold all the power and authority, while men are compelled to serve as slaves, and some are used only for the purpose of reproduction. The women inside the temple seem to be engaged in chanting prayers to honor their god, the Serpent Lord. It is revealed that these devout women are members of a cult, which is under the leadership of the fearless Taxon. At that moment, the massive cobra, the model of their Serpent Lord, emerges from the ground. The story then introduces us to Sumuru, the queen of planet Antares, who appears to be unimpressed by the cult's activities. Meanwhile, the young boy from earlier is brought into the room. Adam is filled with shock and horror as Taxon announces that the young boy is to be offered as a sacrifice to their deity. Upon hearing this, Dove, the boy's sister who also serves as a soldier under the queen, engages in a battle with the members of Taxon's cult. In this moment, it comes to know that the women within the temple are divided into two sides, those who align with Taxon and those who are loyal to the queen. As the spectators observe, Dove persists in her one-person battle, and all of a sudden, the Serpent Lord swoops down and consumes one of the cult members. This causes Taxon to become furious, prompting her followers to capture Dove. However, the queen interferes and argues that Dove acted in self-defense. As tensions rise between Taxon and the queen, Adam, who had been concealed in the shadows, receives a call from his friend, causing a disturbance in the room. Taxon quickly commands her troops to pursue Adam, but he employs one of his advanced firearms to create a distraction and make a getaway. During the commotion, Will, the little boy, also finds an opportunity to flee from the temple. Adam and Will eventually reunite and make their way to the spaceship, aiming to leave the planet and escape from the dangerous situation. As Adam tries to board the spaceship, he is struck by an arrow from one of Taxon's women, injuring his leg. Despite being shot in the leg by one of Taxon's women, Adam is able to make it inside the spaceship. However, the arrow was poisoned, and Adam begins to feel the effects, causing him to gradually lose consciousness. The queen leads her own army to the scene and orders Taxon's cult members to leave. Initially, Taxon's cult members resist, arguing that it is within their rights to kill men. However, when Sumuru asserts her authority as the queen and claims jurisdiction over everything, they begrudgingly comply and leave. Following the departure of Taxon's cult gang, the queen boards the spaceship and confronts the aliens. She produces an antivenom and administers it to Adam, thus saving his life. Adam and Jake were escorted to the Queen's opulent residence, where they finally found a secluded spot to meet in private. Jake disclosed his previous findings from the geoscans, revealing that the planet's deteriorating condition is the root cause of the frequent earthquakes they have been experiencing. The planet has a maximum of 2 months before it completely self-destructs. Subsequently, Adam was brought before the Queen's chamber to face interrogation. He introduced himself and made it clear that he hailed from Earth. Jake made an additional claim that the inhabitants of Antares are actually seeds of Earth, as they were originally sent on a terraforming mission over 1,000 years ago. The terraforming team had maintained regular communication for the first century, but afterward, all contact with Earth had dismissed. Additionally, Earth had undergone a devastating war, which interrupted any efforts to investigate the situation on Antares. The Queen was initially shocked upon hearing Jake's revelations, but ultimately she found them to be believable as their legends had always spoken about Earth. As their conversation continued, the subject of the snake cult arose. Queen Sumuru disclosed that the persistent earthquakes caused the people to turn to religion, and it was during this time that Tandem emerged as a powerful figure. She explained that she herself came from a highly distinguished family and believed that she was appointed to become the queen, but the people did not elect her to the position. Queen Sumuru had been building a cult following in hopes of one day hold the throne for herself. The queen claimed to have no knowledge of the origin of the giant cobra, which appeared unexpectedly. Despite Adam's attempt to warn her about the planet's impending destruction and the need for immediate evacuation, the Queen dismissed his advice, refusing to take attention from a man. The Queen shifted the conversation towards the topic of male subjugation in Antares. She disclosed that in the distant past, men had caused a massive flash of light that resulted in the deaths of numerous individuals. Since that fateful day, women had assumed dominance over the land, and the act of killing men for disobedience had become legally allowed. Following this revelation, the Queen escorted Adam to a crude mine where he witnessed all the male workers toiling as laborers. As per the Queen's account, men were primarily employed as slaves, sacrifices, or occasionally for breeding purposes. Adam was appalled by the sight of such inhumane treatment, and when he voiced his concerns, he was brutally beaten and subsequently hauled away. Regrettably, while Adam was being led back to the Queen's residence by the guards, they were ambushed by Tandem's gang. The infamous members of the cult executed all of the Queen's guards and captured Adam. Tragically, Dove was among the casualties of the ambush, and she perished. As she took her last breaths, her brother will rush to her aid, but unfortunately, it was too late to save her. Adam finds himself in Tandem's chambers where she attempts to recruit him to her cause. She even goes as far as passionately kissing him in an attempt to seduce him into joining her team. However, Adam, being a wise man, immediately rejects Tandem's offer to join her cause. This leads to a heated argument between them. Before things escalate further, the Queen, Jake, and will come to Adam's aid and rescue him. Tandem, unable to overpower the Queen, is swiftly knocked out with a single punch, and the group makes their way out of the tunnels. Along the way, the astronauts discuss the dire state of the planet, and Jake reveals that they have even less time than he had initially estimated. Jake informs the group that he has calculated that Antares could explode within a few days. The Queen eavesdrops on their conversation, and the astronauts become excited when the Queen reveals that the special element in her locket is extracted from the burn zone, the same spot where the spaceship from Earth had landed 1,000 years ago. This means that if they can somehow reach the burn zone and restart the spaceship, they can return to Earth before Antares explodes. The group sets off towards the burn zone with the Queen's assistance, facing multiple obstacles such as avoiding Tandem's followers and rescuing enslaved men along the way. After finally making it outside, Queen Sumuru informs the astronauts that their journey is not over yet, as they still have to travel several kilometers to reach the burn zone. This is because the burn zone is located behind a large hill that they need to cross. Despite the challenges and the danger posed by the serpent group pursuing them, Jake and Adam are determined to continue their journey. Adam then tries to persuade the Queen to accompany them by highlighting that life on Earth is much safer than what they're experiencing on Antares. In response, Queen Sumuru declines politely, stating that she is a servant of her people, not a ruler. Suddenly, a powerful earthquake strikes, causing the entire group to fall down. After the earthquake, Jake realizes that the planet's destruction is close. As the group continues their journey, they stumble upon the remains of a man, which Jake examines. Based on his findings, he deduces that the man died around 900 years ago, the same year that humans first arrived on Antares. On further examination of the skeletal remains, Jake discovers evidence of a solar blast in the area that caused the deaths of most of the men. The Queen realizes that this must have been the same flash of light that their ancestors viewed before many years ago. Since the light was a natural occurrence, the men were not responsible for the deaths, and therefore innocent. This means that for all these years, the religion of the Serpent Cult, which claimed that men are dangerous and wrong, was based on a false premise. Although the Queen is heartbroken by the revelation, Jake and Adam urge her to continue on their journey without losing any more time. The next scene shows the group finally arrived exterior of the burn zone, which turns out to be a massive space dome. Jake and Young will work diligently in the control room to initiate the engine restart process, while Adam and the Queen move to a separate room to manipulate the controls from there. Despite facing numerous challenges along the way, the astronauts eventually succeed in reigniting the engine. However, their joy is short-lived as Taxxon and her goons make an unwelcome appearance. A fierce battle erupts between the two factions, and Adam, armed with his cutting-edge technology, successfully eliminates a majority of the evil female opponents. After that, only Taxxon remains standing, and she boldly challenges the Queen to a fair and honorable one-on-one duel, which the Queen accepts. Initially, the Queen and Taxxon seem evenly matched, but the Queen's exceptional combat skills soon give her the advantage. As Taxxon realizes that she is on the verge of defeat, she resorts to desperate measures and draws out her knife, attempting to launch a surprise attack. However, the Queen remains composed and effortlessly deflects the attack. After a prolonged fight, the Serpent Queen hurls her opponent into a generator, resulting in her being electrocuted and almost killed. Despite her tenacity, Taxxon refuses to surrender and lunges at the Queen with her knife. However, Adam intervenes and shoots her, finally ending her life. Jake successfully initiated the spaceship's launch sequence from the control room, and it is now prepared for takeoff. Upon discovering that the men are not accountable for the crimes committed on Antares and the planet's impending demise, the Queen chooses to accompany Jake, Adam, and Will on their trip to Earth. The spacecraft lifts off and soars into the sky, leaving the inhabitants of Antares, including the men, the Queen's soldiers, and even Taxxon's cult followers, looking in wonder at the magnificent spaceship. Witnessing the leader's absence, Adam experiences remorse and proposes that they invite all of the individuals left behind to board the spaceship, which can comfortably accommodate up to 500 passengers. Jake expresses concern that the violent earthquakes could potentially damage the ship, but both Adam and the Queen are willing to take the risk. With no other viable options, Jake concedes and begins to bring the spaceship down for the people of the Antares. As the spaceship lands on the surface, the people of Antares are stunned to see the colossal structure, which they had previously referred to as the burn zone. Queen Sumuru emerges from the spaceship and instructs everyone to enter, explaining that their planet is on the brink of destruction and they are going on a journey to a distant planet. The Queen informs the people that the new planet they are heading towards will be inhabited by numerous individuals, where there will be no discrimination based on gender, race, or religion. Upon hearing this, the people become thrilled and promptly board the spaceship. Just as Jake and Adam are about to initiate takeoff, a colossal earthquake shakes everyone on board. Upon observing a colossal serpent assaulting one of the spaceship's propellers, Adam urgently instructs Jake to activate the propeller at maximum capacity to thwart the attack. Fortunately, as soon as Jake follows Adam's command and activates the propeller at full throttle, the serpent pulled back due to the flames emitted from the propeller. With the spaceship now airborne, it departs from planet Antares, leaving it behind forever for good. In the last sequence, a woman enters the control room and reunites Little Will with his beloved dog that he had lost earlier. It is revealed that the woman had saved the dog and kept it hidden from Taxxon. The movie ends with everyone in the control room playing and bonding with the puppy, while the spaceship continues its journey towards Earth. Thanks for watching, guys.